Welcome back. Today we're diving into a really powerful, maybe even a little controversial idea from Friedrich Nietzsche. It's an idea that makes you question the whole way we go about searching for truth in the modern world. So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of what Nietzsche was talking about in his book, The Gay Science. He basically asks us to stop and think, is our modern obsession with being intellectually humble actually a good thing, or could it be holding us back?
Nietzsche paints this incredible picture of two completely different kinds of thinkers. On one side, you've got the ancient philosopher, a commander, someone who felt almost godlike in their pursuit of truth. And then there's the modern scholar, a servant, just working away, collecting facts. And Nietzsche's big argument is that in that shift, we lost something huge, the ambition, the dignity of it all.
Okay, to really get what Nietzsche is saying, we have to try and understand the mindset of the ancient thinker he's describing, because honestly, it's pretty alien to us today.
For these ancient philosophers, stumbling upon a great truth wasn't just, a good day at work. It was a massive, life-changing experience. They felt it literally elevated them, brought them closer to the gods. Discovering truth was the entire point of their existence, all wrapped up in one moment.
And this right here is so important. Nietzsche is reframing what knowledge even is. It's not just some dry piece of information you file away. For the ancients, truth was a powerful possession. And when you possessed it, it fundamentally changed you. It gave you a kind of spiritual weight.
Nietzsche even calls this pride a biological eruption. I mean, what a phrase. This wasn't just being arrogant. He saw it as this vital, creative energy. He called these thinkers volcanoes of value. They created these heroic figures and ideas that gave the rest of society something to look up to, something to strive for.
All right, so now let's jump forward in time and see how that ancient pride stacks up against our modern way of thinking, which, as you can guess, Nietzsche saw as something else entirely.
In our world, the whole script has flipped. We prize what Nietzsche calls the intellectual conscience. The perfect scholar today is humble, they're a servant of the facts, objective, careful, and totally detached. The ego? That's seen as a problem, something that gets in the way of finding the truth.
And wow, Nietzsche did not hold back his criticism of this. He didn't see this new humility as a virtue at all. He saw it as a sign of a weakened spirit, something he called shriveled and small. And you can almost feel this today, right? Think about something like imposter syndrome, where even the top experts in their fields feel like frauds for claiming any kind of authority.
So for Nietzsche, this was just a huge demotion, a massive loss of status and dignity for the thinker. That grand, world-shaping role the philosopher used to have, it was shrunk down to something much more, manageable. This image really says it all, doesn't it? The thinker went from being a commander, leading the charge and shaping the world, to being a bricklayer, just carefully adding one more little fact to this giant, endless wall of information. And that's really the core of it. The entire purpose of knowledge itself changed. It's not about becoming something more, something divine. Now, it's about being useful, about contributing to the group, or as Nietzsche would provocatively call it, the herd.
So the huge question is, how did this happen? Why the big change? Well, Nietzsche points to a few key moments in Western culture that he believed tamed or domesticated the human mind. He thought this path led to a kind of stagnation of the spirit.
This is the key question. Nietzsche didn't think this happened by accident. He saw a clear line from that ancient power to our modern, more timid approach. So Nietzsche lays out these steps. First, he talks about the death of God. With the decline of a shared religion, thinkers lost that cosmic mirror where they could see their own godlike potential. Second, you get the rise of a democratic spirit, this fear of anyone being higher than anyone else. That leads to step 3, pride, which was once a noble thing, gets rebranded as the sin, a vice. And the result? The wild, creative beast of prey inside the great thinker gets put in a cage, tamed by this new virtue of humility.
And for Nietzsche, this whole push for humility wasn't some noble quest for truth. He saw it as a survival tactic for the mediocre, right? If everyone has to be humble, then no one ever has to feel less than anyone else. It levels the playing field by tearing down the great, not by inspiring everyone else to climb higher.
But here's the thing with Nietzsche. He's not just a critic. He never just points out a problem and walks away. He always proposes a path forward, a way to reclaim a kind of pride that could actually work in the modern world.
Now, the goal isn't to just turn back the clock and pretend we're ancient Greeks. That's not it at all. Nietzsche imagined a new kind of science, a gay science, and for him, that meant a joyful wisdom that could blend the rigor of modern thinking with the confidence and power of the ancients.
This table lays out his idea perfectly. The goal is to keep our modern commitment to being honest, to being accurate with the facts. But at the same time, we need to reclaim that noble, ancient spirit, to wear our knowledge with a sense of dignity, and to use it to create new values, not just observe the ones that are already there.
And the person who embodies this new ideal is what Nietzsche calls the free spirit. This is someone who has the courage to stand apart from the crowd, to think for themselves, to say, no, I won't just be a servant to the facts or to some moral code that someone else handed me. The free spirit dares to create.
And this really is the biggest takeaway. Nietzsche is saying that while we've gotten incredibly good at being accurate, we've kind of lost the greatness of spirit, the magnanimity to make all that accuracy actually mean something. You can see this tension today in places like academia, with its publish or perish culture, where just gathering data can sometimes feel more important than figuring out what it all means. The real challenge is to go from being observers to creators.
So that's the thought I want to leave you with. In a world that is just drowning in information, maybe the rarest, most valuable thing isn't finding another fact. Maybe it's having the pride and the courage to stand up and decide what it all means. Thanks for joining this explainer.